gosh, it's been forever. Hi. You almost would have thought we were snapped, but we weren't. We were just, well, in finals and traveling and school and life. But Endgame happened and we had to be back. So here we are. The whole crew is here and we're here happy to be with you on the UnpauseIt live talk show right here on YouTube because YouTube rocks for video. It's kind of fun. We can see ourselves on YouTube on our TVs when we're looking at like things shows like there we are on YouTube.
Then it's harder to look at the camera.
Yeah,
that's harder to look
that camera right there. I know.
I noticed that Dad gets so much more excited like me when we're on camera.
I think that's pretty typical. I don't know about you if you guys watching feel that too with you of your kids. Everybody like turns into a different person when the camera's on. Either it's like a more oh my God, go away person or someone who wants to be in it. So we have a lot to cover tonight. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to basically take in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, which just dropped today. And apparently, if you haven't seen Endgame, you might want to hold off on seeing the trailer. Is that correct?
I've seen this. They have not. She's going to take her little earbud out and go watch it right.
I'm going.
I would also like to point out, first things first, we have watched Endgame twice, us as a family.
We'll get there.
We watched Endgame twice.
We have known what true joy is.
So if you guys want to watch, you should be able to see what's happening on the screen behind us and hear as we react. And we're going to go do that, and then we'll be right back. But you can see us. So here we go. So I'm going to switch around. Go put him in class.
Sit right here.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer. Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your job.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling me.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk. I don't want to talk wrong. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo.
Oh, I'm sure he really likes me.
Reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
I could use someone like you on my world.
New world? Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
You have a job to do. You're coming with us.
There's gotta be some else you can use.
We're about to
Off-world.
Captain Marvel, unavailable. But who's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
Bitch, please. You've been to space.
Peter. I want to go back on my trip with the girl you aren't really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I am Spider-Man. No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility.
Saving the world requires sacrifice.
Sometimes people die.
Oh my God.
That was my first
I
one.
feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
Get you guys out of here. Get on the jet. Who are you? I work with Spider-Man.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
Hi! Happy's in it! Yay! That's awesome! Happy's in Spider-Man.
So
Or
one of you guys sit over here.
I'll just stand.
You can stand. Willis, I think maybe you should stand because you're the most.
well, now we can't see you. So
Okay, you
somebody...
stand. You sit. You sit. Well,
Then I have the camera again.
sit.
All right, so
No.
we just saw the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. What do you think?
It's no longer the MCU. It's the MCM, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
And if you've seen Spider-Man Multiverse,
into the
into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, that was awesome.
Ties it all together. Stop that. I can't hear you clapping. It's a little loud. That's the only thing.
Remember that.
So, one thing, I want to say this. I texted you this morning
Yes.
about it, and you were busy work and everything like that.
Yes.
And then we said, oh, we'll just do it for the live stream tonight. You said in your text, he'll be the next Iron Man.
I said it.
I can bring my phone.
I don't think I said
Let's get
he'll be the
proof.
next Iron Man. I did not say he'll be the next Iron Man. I don't think I said
I think
that.
it said Elle will be the next Iron Man because you were voice to text.
It was voice to text. I didn't say. I think it was happening after Iron Man died is what I meant. Which is, oh my gosh, boom, spoiler right there for Endgame. But yes, we're talking about
He'll be the next Spider-Man after Tony dies.
No, is the next Spider-Man movie after
Oh.
Tony dies is what I meant.
Voice to text. I thought you were just being super prescient because they said in there.
And he was probably like, dang, I really wanted to Anyway, but if you have, now you should go see the Spider-Man trailer if you've seen Endgame. But if you see it, you're going to realize how Endgame ends in a part, which is that Tony Stark is no longer with us.
Right.
So he has died. But yes, exactly. Which actually you predicted, Sauce Willis, you predicted that back when we were about to see Infinity War. You thought maybe Tony would die. He did not in Infinity War. And you were like,
I was gonna be happy about it, but then it made me sad because the recording Love You 3000.
oh, I know.
Okay.
Georgia, how about you? What'd you think of the trailer?
Yes.
Yes.
You've been to space.
All right. So now,
We
I
get
want to go
a
to
we get a
space. I
cussing
really
Sam
wanna go to
Jackson, Nick
space.
Fury finally.
and we
want
got
to
a
go to space.
cussing Captain
Both.
America. Let's be
Right.
honest in Endgame. But yeah. Can we talk about Endgame now?
We'll talk about Endgame, the beginning of Endgame, right? Starting with Hawkeye and his family
Mhm.
being dusted. So this is full spoilers, the whole thing, and the spoiler embargo's been lifted for sure.
Yes. So we were waiting for that as well as other things. We've also seen the movie twice now, so we feel like we have a good handle on it.
I have to be down here because that chair doesn't let me get in.
That's
as
totally
much.
fine.
I'll sit on the chair and you can yell over here.
But then I
That's fine. You guys are gonna be out of here in a few minutes anyway.
What were your ratings for Endgame? What's your rating?
Out of 10, please.
10 out of 10.
10
Good.
out of 10.
Good.
What about you?
Yeah.
say, brother.
10 out of 10. You?
I gave it a 10 as well.
And 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been better. They did exactly what we all hoped cathartically they would do for us, and they did, even the loss of Tony Stark and other people, as we'll talk here in a moment. But yeah, it was great. It was a good thing.
You can sit down, G, if you want, because apparently he's moved.
Are you out, Willis? What's going on?
No, I was just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
if you're in the
sad
show,
walking.
you're in the show.
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay. I want to go do a little bit round thing before we I would like to try to kind of go chronologically through Endgame a little bit, because there's all the feelings, all the things we're like, oh, okay. What was your biggest thing from Endgame? You're like,
My
whoa.
biggest oof.
Oof. Should we skip you for a moment while you think?
I'll go.
Yes.
I'll go. So the first time, the biggest wow factor was when Cap, Tony, and Thor face off with Thanos, and he's just waiting,
Mhm.
and he's not even phased, but they kind of hold their own, but he beats them all down. But when Cap got the hammer,
Oh.
when it was hammer and axe, and the bearded, awesomeness, that whole section, the first time was what was really, imparting me. The second time, it was during the very end when Tony says, "I love you 3000," looking directly at his daughter Morgan, from a hologram. That part on the second viewing, boom,
Broke him. He
got a
was
little
broke.
dusty.
It
Like-
also,
like
it also
Pollen? Was it like pollen?
Worse than Pollen.
It was worse than
Pollen,
Pollen.
Pollen 3000.
I was.
Wait, no, Georgia's next.
Oh.
My,
But he had a point though.
I have something.
I have a point though.
Just say it real quick.
Okay.
You
He
got it. Hang on.
did say in case of an untimely death, he predicted his own death.
Well, I
Right,
knew it
true.
was very possible.
Oof. Okay, so my favorite part in the first time we saw it was Mr. Captain America with Mr. Hammer.
Right.
That was so amazing.
So amazing.
I think the whole theater cheered like we were at a playoff game. It was crazy. We were like, ah!
But we were at a playoff game.
That's right. It was the master playoff game. Willis, what was your big thing out of Endgame?
My favorite scene?
Well, just the big like, oh man, I can't
Your
believe that
biggest
happened.
moment that got to you like,
How long can the moment be?
Just share it, dude.
Okay, overall, the big moment was beginning with the trio fighting Thanos. And
you and I were screaming during that hammer thing. We were screaming
and
the whole
also
time.
the whole war is just
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
He was
But-
screaming.
Pick a moment. Yeah, pick a moment.
two moments actually.
'Kay.
When we found out when Meow Meow came back to
To Cap, right?
to Cat,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
predicted that so
you
many
did.
times.
You totally had that.
Yeah. And also, Cap faced off against the whole army. Like, fine,
Mhm.
I will fight you all to the death.
That's right.
Cool
Yeah.
dog.
Which, a lot of those scenes are directly from, taken out of comics and things like that.
Yeah.
I know he looks all small over here. You can just stand up. Just sit down if you need to.
Look at this chair size.
We know.
It's our.
Can I share mine? What am mine?
Oh, it's a
It is a
chair.
Spider-Man chair.
Make
And now I share all those. I think my big one was on your left. When
when
Cap is like, this is like,
Falcon. Yeah.
oh my gosh, Sam, on your left. Also, the elevator scene, which you didn't know how that
so
was
good.
maybe going to be like a reboot of the thrashing elevator scene in
But
Winter Soldier.
Hail Hydra.
But it wasn't. It was Hail Hydra. So yeah, there were so many great moments like that, and just kind of like things coming together. I saw someone put in an article. They said this whole movie was a love story to the entire last 10 years, and it really was because they brought everyone. You saw everyone. You had so many cameos.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
We can't go through this chronologically because it's 3 hours long, packed full of 3 hours of things.
We are going to bring up all the things though.
We're gonna bring up all the things, and it might go all over the place because of what's coming in there. I de-aged last, shot with Stanley. That was pretty amazing, and a really cool de-aging heavy segment. We had Tony Stark de-aged, and then we had Hank Pym, not Tony Stark, Howard Stark de-aged, and Hank Pym both de-aged in that one as well.
That was right.
And you couldn't really tell.
Yeah, that was really good. Some of the other
Here's one.
go ahead.
Jumping very far ahead. Speaking of ages, that one guy with the potato gun in Iron Man 3, the little kid,
Hey,
that was in
Harley.
the garage,
Yeah,
he was that mysterious kid at the funeral. Like, it was his actor with him.
you really liked that, didn't you?
I found out today. But
What? I thought I told you yesterday.
you did not.
My bad.
You didn't know yesterday.
I didn't know yesterday.
You told me you didn't know yesterday.
Well,
He's
we should
confusing
totally
today with
we should
yesterday
keep
because I
fighting
told
about
him
this for the
yesterday.
next hour. And then I love seeing so many characters from the past movies come back. So you had the Sorcerer Supreme, played by Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton, excuse me. I'll edit that out. Tilda Swinton,
No.
who
It's a
talked to the
lesbian.
Hulk about time and about taking the stone. That was one of my favorite scenes where he is trying to get the time stone from her, and of course she's protecting the time stone as she should. And she's like, no, no one, a keeper of the time stone would never get up. He's like, well, why did Doctor Strange just hand it over to Thanos? And she's like, what?
Well,
Hold
let's look at 3 things in that scene. Okay, that solves 3 not plot holes but plot devices that happened. So one, all right, where were the Sorcerer Supreme and all these magicians during the Battle in New York? They were protecting
New
the
York.
stone
Yeah.
And the
at this
sanctum.
and the sanctum. So they were actually fighting
Amazing.
off screen. So
Yes.
in that specific scene only, but that whole montage in 2012 solves a lot. But we're just talking about this scene. 2, Banner and Hulk are no longer. Professor Hulk is a new thing. So when the Sorcerer Supreme, Tilda Swinton, the ancient one, separates them, Banner becomes Banner, Hulk becomes Hulk,
That
but
was
he's knocked
great.
out.
Yeah, that was really
Right.
cool.
So you can see like it's a new thing, and then it really goes into the time branching, which is at the end of the movie. It kind of really wraps 3 things up, and then why Tilda Swinton didn't really know what was going on, because it's a callback to Doctor Strange when she said, "I can't see past her own demise."
Mm-hmm. How about Willis? What you got?
I'd like to
You can put your hand down now.
point out that in the comics, Professor Hulk was bald. and I am happy to see him not bald.
Was that the worst thing about him, that you didn't want him bald? Because you did not want Professor Hulk in this at all.
Yeah, because he was gonna be bald, and he's also a conehead. He was a conehead in the comics.
He's also eating hunka burning Hulk.
You know, one of
Yeah, the Ben and Jerry's
Ben and
reference in
Jerry's
the first.
flavor after that was
really-
referred to in
we
Infinity
should
War.
really organize our presentation of this because right now we're.
I tried, but
everywhere.
you guys were everywhere earlier.
No, I wanted to go chronologically, and that went out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah, you will.
we would have had to have spent an hour going through it first, I think. Sorry.
That's fine. Anyway, but yeah, all those moments. So then we brought back Pierce, who was played by Robert Redford. He has a small cameo when you're seeing him trying to fight in the lobby to get the Tesseract away from our Avengers up then. You got Captain America cursing a little bit more than normal, where he's like, "You gotta be shitting me."
Also,
Let's
the
get
Language, mom.
Yeah,
Also,
the language cap.
This is all children's.
Anyway,
Yes.
and also that is America's.
That is America's
ass.
so we're not going to be able to hit on all of them, but it tied together so many things, and it sets up 3 different Disney Plus shows, right?
Yeah.
The Loki show,
Yeah.
the WandaVision show.
That one division is the worst name.
But it's a worst name, but it could be the best show because you don't know what's
I
going on.
think Loki and Sam and Bucky.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Loki, actually, in this movie, when they went back to get the Tesseract, he gets away with the
But
Tesseract.
okay. I must explain something to you right now because you apparently have not been listening to me every time I said this. He put the stones back with everyone.
He put it back in
Look.
1970, not in 2012.
Yeah, they took the Tesseract from
Yeah.
70. They couldn't
Okay,
get it
okay.
from 2012.
Okay. Okay. By the way, no.
All right, sit
Okay.
down.
No. Professor Holt explained that time does not work like Back to the Future or anything.
Or Hot Tub Time Machine, apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, no.
Let him finish.
I am talking real quick, please. Yes.
Then hurry up. TikTok,
Okay.
Mike.
Loki did not get the space stone because the case didn't fall out because he didn't get a what's it called? The thingy in his chest.
The
Time-
wand,
Well, that
the
did happen.
scepter.
But that would have happened, but time doesn't work differently. That going back in time with Tony Stark only happened once. But everything played out like it should have after Cap put the
All right, sit down.
stone back.
Sit down.
We're lonely.
Because you had just pointed out a plot hole then because he didn't do that. He didn't put it back there. He put it back in 1970 because that's
Yeah.
when he took it. And this other Tesseract then negates the entire MCU then. That's a plot hole. He just kind of, you know.
Exposed.
Right.
Okay, Loki did not get away. That is the moral of the story.
In this movie, he did get away.
Yeah, but then Cap fixed everything. Cap fixed everything. Oh,
But we
I
don't
don't think he
know. We didn't see Cap. We didn't see
Right.
Cap's journey. And
We
they
don't
even
know
talked
that.
about it. Like, we
there
don't know
could
what
be a whole
happened.
movie on Cap's journey.
There could
honestly.
be a whole movie.
But
I think there is going to be a whole movie.
Loki did not escape. No.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Anyway,
That's what I'm hoping.
There
at
were
least.
some satisfying moments too in this movie. So you actually get to
Good
see
point.
Thanos die twice. So at the very beginning, it's after the snap. It's not too terribly long after, but Captain Marvel has rescued Iron Man and Nebula from space, brought the Benatar back to Earth, and then they all, he's kind of out of it. He's like, whatever, I hate you guys. I hate you, Cap. You guys suck. And he's out of it. So they're like, they get Captain Marvel and they figure out where Thanos, with Nebula's help, where Thanos is residing, and apparently has used the stones again. They're like, well, he's got them. Let's go get him. So they all go and they get him. And when they're there, they realize Thanos has, the last time he used the stones was to destroy the stones. They don't have an option there anymore. There's no option there. And very satisfyingly and abruptly, Thor removes his head. It's pretty awesome. You're just like, good, you're dead. Like it.
Or didn't. But it's also surprising because is that the first 20 minutes of the show?
Right.
It's very early in the
Yeah.
movie. Yes, it happens.
Something that wasn't satisfying for anybody.
It wasn't.
I mean, it was
satisfying.
10 out of 10, but it wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? I wanted to see Daredevil and
Hmm.
I want
Punisher. I wanted to see
Deadpool.
Punisher
I
like
wanted to
ripping
see-
off
I want to
people's heads.
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
They could have done it, but I don't think that would have fit in this one. But I can see why that would be disappointing. But that would be
Deadpool!
amazing. I bet you Deadpool 3 will have a scene where he's just like walking through, that whole thing because they own
I hope
they own
so.
it now.
Better. Better
But yeah, mine was like not seeing the Marvel characters kind of like just show up.
Yeah, well, and let's be honest too, the whole first act is a bit, I mean, even with the beheading of Thanos, it's slow because it's very, I mean, they got gut punched like we all did when we saw them all dusted last year. They're feeling that. They're just like, and then they feel like they have no choice. They have no chance to bring it all back or change it. So yeah, they're all depressed. Man, you feel it when Cap is like leading like a support group and he's like, wow, we got to move on. We got to move on. He's trying to talk himself into moving on.
Yeah. And speaking of support groups, they all dealt in grief in different ways.
Yeah.
Tony disengaged. He became a family man. He actually became a better, quote, person to Pepper and his family.
Yep.
Cap just wallowed in his misery, trying to help. He just tried to do the right thing, not knowing really what the right thing was. Romanoff, she became a leader. Like, she became head of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's all she knew. That's what she had to do. Hawkeye went on a murderous Punisher-like rampage.
He became Ronan.
Right.
He became Hawkeye's alter ego, Ronan from the comics.
The one I am most identifying with is Fat Thor.
Yes.
Thor became the Big Lebowski. I mean, dude, and when he got the hammer back and got the power and got the hammer and everything, he didn't just magically become like super ripped like he has been in the past.
He became like Odin.
Yeah, and for some of us that, look like melted ice cream all our lives,
He is melted ice cream.
totally felt justifiable and saw myself on screen. I say I can identify with that. But he dealt with his grief that way. I would like to say we all give it a 10. I don't think it was perfect. We saw the things that were like, kind of missing, things that you could have liked better, more Captain Marvel, more Valkyrie. Someone is always going to pick up something.
10
However,
out of -2.
Right. Where do we go next? What is your most anticipated movie coming up that you can think of this year? Start with Georgia.
Black Widow movie. If that's
Not this year, though.
Aww.
But that's coming, but it's not this year. So,
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Honestly, Godzilla.
Godzilla.
King of
Yes.
Monsters.
I'm going to say that.
You also spit in my eye earlier, so thanks for
Dude,
that.
That's
Yeah,
scary movie.
just rub your eye and move on and keep your
I've
hand
been
out.
rubbing my eye.
I don't like horror movies.
And stop rubbing your eye.
Not a
How
horror
about you?
movie.
I consider it one.
Next Star Wars.
The Star Wars movie?
Mhm, Yep.
We do.
I'm going to throw a little monkey wrench in it and see Rambo 5.
What's Rambo?
Some of you guys don't know.
Is it a sheep?
I've been thinking about this. I'm like, I really liked Rambo 4.
Excuse. Oh no.
Well,
Thank you.
why?
Hello.
Because
Okay, now
But
sit
seriously,
up higher,
right there,
higher.
before I really looked into the Rambo thing, I was with him. That Godzilla trailer, amazing. Looks
Yeah.
really good. One thing I'm not looking forward to,
Hmm.
Toy Story 4.
no, not either. They need to let that one go.
Right?
No,
All right.
I'm not really a Toy Story
Yeah.
person.
Let him have a shot.
Ka-ching.
Chimichangas.
They have seen the Once Upon a Deadpool. They have not seen the regular Deadpool.
Well, wait. Why would we be? No.
Yeah, because you're kids and you know your limitations. So, do you know how much money Endgame has made?
It says something on there. I can't
Don't read it.
though.
Okay.
How much?
Yes.
Okay. So I heard it made over on the day the tickets were open for selling. It made over the amount of Captain Marvel, the whole thing.
Kind of.
Yes.
700 million. Something like
No, yeah.
621,277,000,000.
Stop.
Not right. That's-
That is not right. It has globally made $2.193 billion in 10 days of release.
So it's now. Oh, can I bring up one other thing? Zoe Saldana, who plays Gamora, has been in 3 of the top 5 earning movies of all time.
Yeah, she was an Avatar, and she was
in
in this
Avatar
movie.
and both the Avengers, the Infinity War, and in Endgame. She's been in the 3 of the top 5. The same actress in 3 of the top 5 highest movies.
She must be
almost-
like super famous.
That is
It's
something
almost
to be
like
like
$8 billion.
Whoa. Exactly. That
Or
is
just-
worthy of note.
Or does she
Right.
drink some Felix Felixes? So that's it.
So now Jim Cameron does no longer own the top 2 spots. Titanic has been usurped by this movie. This movie has made more money than The Force Awakens. I don't think it'll make more money than The Force Awakens did locally, like in the U.S. market. It's got to get to 900 million plus for that.
It's Avengers Endgame, Dad.
I don't think it will.
believe in
It's got $621 million now. It's got to get $300 more million to do that.
I bet it can do that.
I don't think it will.
I bet it can do that.
I think because it was a summer. If it came out in the Christmas time, like the Star Wars Force Awakens did, it might have, but I don't think it will. I don't think it'll catch Avatar, which made $2.78 billion.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think it will.
I want to find out where did people cry? Did either of you kids cry or tear up or anything in the parts of the movie?
No.
Okay.
Movies don't make me
I
cry.
think I did at one part, but I can't remember.
Mom
Yeah.
cried at like every possible point.
I cried more in the second viewing. I'm not gonna lie.
It got more dusty at, like I said, I Love You 3000 part.
Well, so
Totally.
Yeah.
Scott finds Cassie. He's not sure if she's alive or dead, and just that reunion was amazing and just like
Yeah.
a bit of a tearjerker. And I also cried when. Okay, everybody okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am sorry.
Kids.
My foot was brought
Kids.
down.
Yes, it's the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry about the kids in a moment.
And you got just a few more
That's right.
things to say, kids, and then you are out upstairs.
I cried at Love You 3000. I cried at cheeseburgers. Oh, and
I love
when
cheeseburgers.
Happy is like, your dad loved cheeseburgers too. I'm like, oh my god, he did.
You know,
You're not the only one.
I cry happy tears whenever I get cheeseburgers in real life. So you're not alone in this.
Yeah.
Crying at
It was so
cheeseburgers.
good. And I cried more the second viewing than I did the first.
Okay, kids. All right, so you gave it a 10 out of 10. We're gonna see it maybe one more time in theaters. Super cheap matinee show because oh my god, IMAX screenings are expensive.
This movie has been expensive. You're welcome for the $2 billion plus.
Yeah, $2 billion.
Maybe
Like
some
it
of
feels like 193 million of that was me. You know.
Okay, wait. I would like to go back.
No,
Yes.
your guy is.
Yeah, no, he
You
can.
sure?
Let him finish.
And since we're not talking about money anymore, though we should be,
Focus.
no one here was most looking forward to Far From Home.
No, it wasn't our. We just watched.
No, look, I am looking forward to it. We're
Yeah,
talking
we're
about
all-
Endgame.
We're talking
looking forward
about
to it.
most anticipated.
Yeah.
The Star Wars thing.
I know no one is most looking forward
You
to
know
that.
what I'm anticipating?
Yeah.
A video game of Avengers.
Yes, final.
That's already a thing.
Yeah, but it's only a
yeah,
fighting
only
game.
Legos.
No, okay,
You know, the
yeah.
fighting one.
It
I
did-
want an actual one.
there
like God
are-
of War,
But
like
they have to.
Yes,
BioWare.
yes.
They already have to.
All right, kiddos, you guys are out. Your timer's up.
No, one thing.
Nope,
Okay,
you're out.
bye.
Yes, say the last thing.
Okay,
All right.
So-
Wait, that was your last thing last time.
for
Stand
those
up.
of you who have played, who have played God of War, you should be able to choose your type of gameplay and choose what story you do of the Avengers. All of them.
I'm
Sure.
gonna have a Fresca.
In that game.
No, it is.
It's
no.
7:30, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what we deal with all the time. That was actually calmer than dinner time.
That's right.
By
They
the
were
way.
actually more
Oh
focused
my
than
God.
normal.
So now that buzzsaw of who needed a rock star, needed that here, of energy is out, and they did great. We love their opinions. We love having them on the show.
Yes.
But it in 10 days of release has made $2.2 billion. Basically, it's gonna get close. It's gonna make. It'll probably top out at 2.6.
How much longer do you think it'll be in theaters?
Well, look what happened with Captain Marvel.
Yes.
The weekend that Avengers Endgame came out, Captain Marvel surged back up from like 5th or 6th in the top 10, back to number 2, made another $8 million before Far From Home, especially if this goes wide and they do this spoiler trailer, because we're going to talk about this because the kids, they can't focus on this one. There was a, it says, if you haven't watched it you haven't watched Endgame, this is a super spoiler, and it just opens up, boom.
Yeah, at
Tony's
least
dead.
they warned you. And at least I saw someone say, well, oh, look, Tom Holland wants to protect us from spoilers. Because he's not been very good at that.
They probably worked that into his
Yeah,
contract,
like,
saying you
boy,
have to
you
do
better
this.
do this better.
But we're going to delve into it a little bit. But I think what's going to happen is the July 4th weekend before that, some Endgame ties into Spider-Man. They start doing these spoilerific trailers. People are like, oh, I got to see it again.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, and yeah, like you said, school's going to let out. People will be like, ooh, now we have time. We don't have to worry about it. Let's go, And then my family from town. It's a great way to kill 3 hours with your family. So you can go and see it and stuff. But yeah.
It won't be as good as opening weekend, because there was so much screaming. The emotion was skyrocketing. We saw it on a Sunday afternoon, yesterday afternoon.
I know of at least one mom out there who's saying she's going to go see it on Mother's Day, which yesterday was my Mother's Day because we had to celebrate early. But I see that happening too. There's a lot of fans.
Yeah, it'll be number 1 next weekend too. It did not make the record for highest second weekend.
I think.
And that was Star Wars. Like I said, I think that's due because that was Christmas break. things like that.
Mhm.
I think it'll get close to. It made 147 million or something like that, and 149 was so it's $2 million off. Right, it was right there. I think it's going to make close to 140 million dollars next weekend, maybe like 130 or so, but 130 million dollars. Like, oh my god, it's going to make so much. It's made all the money already.
Oh my god,
totally made all the money. But we're going to move on. Don't even know what we're doing in the show notes.
I know what to talk about. Yeah, so I do kind of want to like, and I did this on the way home. I actually was kind of like, and since I've gotten to see it twice, I feel like I had a decent flow, though I've noticed a few times in my thinking through where I'm like, no, I kind of lost it. There were so many great moments where, I mean, you just see the evidence of 10 plus years of these people working together really come across the screen. Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, you know, so you've got Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and the chemistry there is amazing. We've heard other people say it too, but it really is, and you just feel the power of the conflict between those two, but the fact that they're both the equal leaders of this team. And I really got a thrill, and it was just that old Tony Stark being brilliant, where he's like, no, I'm not going to work on this, and he's just kind of fiddling with it. He is fiddling with a time heist using quantum theory, and he figures it out. He figures it out, and then he says shit. But his daughter says it too.
So,
but that was amazing. I'm like, of course you did. He's like, I figured it out. And I'm like, of course you did.
All these plot holes and things that were happening, and it was addressed with this multiverse thing in this Spider-Man. Mysterio traditionally is a villain, right? I think he is the villain.
I think he turns into a
I
villain.
think he is the Mandarin. And let's equate this Spider-Man with Iron Man 3. He's the Mandarin to the real villain in this movie.
Okay.
That's my bold prediction for the Far From Home.
Okay. It's very bold.
Bold. Capital B. Maybe I should bold and italicize.
My bold prediction for Endgame was that quantum theory, quantum realm, and Scott were going to be a major part of how they.
I think the whole family
won.
agreed with your bold prediction.
And I was right. And I was right. I was right. I was right. I was right.
I was right on Professor Hulk.
You were right on Professor Hulk. That's right.
Yeah, because we didn't see him the first one. So he's going to be in there. And that was from like 2 years ago when they had that test screenshot thing, and he's wearing a full suit. I'm like, that's Professor Hulk. I was kind of hoping for Iron Hulk. Like, Hulk is just so crazy. He kind of did it with the glove, but he gets a full suit to even augment him, and it was a one-on-one with him. And
it was great when they went back, when their team went back to New York, and they're like, maybe you could smash some stuff on the way. And he's like, feels gratuitous, but whatever.
He's kind of picking up.
Like, Yeah, they had such a great mix of humor and tension. I loved watching. I feel like Steve kind of finally arrived where he got to go in the elevator and tell them all, instead of beating everybody down, and they're like, dude, you can't take this step. He's like, no, it's okay. Hail Hydra. And just you're like,
from the moment that happened in the comics in the last like year and a half. I mean, it's crazy what they
tell knowing what had happened in that first elevator scene, and you're like, oh my god, it's another elevator scene. And then he said that, you're like, oh my. And then he walks away and just kind of that was so great.
He fought himself. That was weird. That probably the lowest point is when Cap fought Cap for me, which was still, I still give it a 10. Like, whatever.
I was kind of like, that's still cool. That's epic. Captain finding Captain. That's awesome.
Yeah, you want to see all those things, happening in there. But let's move on to a little bit of pop culture things coming on. We're going to be doing the Denver Pop Culture Con at the end of this month. We'll probably be going black until then.
We got
racist
finals.
term there. Sorry, but we're going black. We're not going to be broadcasting.
We're going dark. Whatever.
Yeah.
Where you've got finals, kids at the end of school. I'm traveling to Belfast next week. Maybe I'll do a little impromptu live anything there. I get to go to the C.S. Lewis Park. I'm going to go over there and check that out. It's going to be end the Game of Thrones set.
Right. So you are contemplating taking the Nintendo Switch with you.
I am contemplating.
All right. For adults that maybe don't play Switch or play video games, what would you recommend on this? How have you liked it? You've recently just picked it up and started playing it.
I did. So I will say I haven't tried a whole lot of games on it. I did try playing Zelda, Breath of the Wild, back when you first got it. It's not my fave. Which is kind of funny because I watch you guys play it. I'm like, no, I feel like I get into it, and then I just am like not. But no, then we got Skyrim. We got that for Willis, and he was playing it, and then I tried playing it. I'm like, I like it, and I left it. Then I left it for a long time. So then the other day, I'm like, I need something new. I want to play this again. So I picked it up and restarted it. I don't know if you guys do that. I do that where I'm like, I don't remember the controls, so I'm going to restart. And so I did that, and now I'm into it. And so I've gotten farther into it. I feel like I've done better than the first time, which helps. but I'm planning on taking it. I basically have to combat jet lag on the way to Belfast, so that's what I'm going to use the Nintendo Switch. So
Yeah.
Skyrim. Good
Traveling
game.
east, the rule is you stay awake as much as possible, and then when you get there, you stay awake as late as possible,
Until
at least
like
until
6 p.m.
10 o'clock.
Nope, 6 p.m.
It's 10. It's
Girl,
10.
buddy, I'm going 6 p.m. and I got to wake up. I got to be there at 9 a.m. I'm going to bed at 6. Get over it. But I am going to take the Switch to try to stay awake.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do without it.
Yeah. The kids will be, like I said, that's their second to final week of school. They're going to be busy. And they have Minecraft and everything else. But things like that, those are pop culture things that go along a long way to help you mitigate certain things.
That's right.
You know, it's a catharsis. It's an escape.
Yes.
So when we see these big, giant space battles in Star Wars, what are we looking for? We're looking for us. We're looking for themes, right? What we see in the Marvel universe is real situations, spy movies, you know, family dynamics, friend dynamics.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you
play it out,
always identify with pieces of some of them. You know, you're like, oh, that feels like that, or feels like me, or feels like my life.
The novelty of the MCU is not really even the setting, because that's been done before, the X-Men and Superman in the 70s, but the quality of execution and the amount of time and effort put into making that, the seriousness with the producers of this kind of movie are taking it now. Yeah. I think that's where we're seeing a difference.
Well, and to weave a story, I mean, they boldly went, no, not really many had gone before, where you're making years of movies with this ginormous ensemble of cast that kind of interweave with each other's stories, and then bringing it all together. And I've said this before, and I'll say it here. Avengers is basically this generation's answer to our Star Wars saga.
Yeah, our generation.
Yeah, because we were like, we wanted those stories together. It was a dynasty, and it was a story, and it was interwoven, and you know, and then you saw the 3, and even then you saw the prequels, which meh. And then they carried on with Rogue One and other movies that have followed up. Then that's been ours, and now Avengers is still ours, but it's very much more this generational impact of that.
Like our kids' generation. And that led me into, we were talking about there, rest in peace, Peter Mayhew.
Yes.
He has touched pop culture, right?
Yes.
And he passed the mantle on to Eunice, I'm not going to even try that last name, and coached him on how to be Chewbacca. So Eunice now, if they keep making these movies and keep making movies with Chewbacca in it, has an entire career of just being Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And he can do it because Star Wars is that big. We saw this last month with Star Wars Celebration. And there was this big divide, right? And I see it online every once in a while. It's like, Luke was done wrong. I'm like, no, I like the way it did, because Luke did wrong and he was flawed. He wasn't perfect. If he would have just been this, never did anything wrong, how would he have been human? Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that humanity in the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. They have this awesome power, but they didn't have that humanity. Now, there was some things online about the new Star Wars movie coming up.
Okay.
And, Peter Mayhew, wonderful man, apparently. I never met him, of course. But when you're over 7 feet tall, what are you going to do for your life? You become Chewbacca.
Or a basketball player, but yeah.
Right. It was so awesome. There is a translation where instead of Rise of Skywalker, it's translated into Skywalker Resurrection.
No one ever's really gone. No one's ever really gone.
Right.
And then the whole Palpatine.
If he becomes resurrected, I don't think it makes The Last Jedi better. I think it makes it worse. But that's just my opinion on that one. However, if he comes back and the Skywalker he's still one with the Force, but Luke is in it as a more powerful Force ghost than even Yoda, because Yoda was able to like whack him on the head, right? And then they take that further where he comes back and now he's basically a Force ghost that can't be destroyed. Kind of wonder if that would work, because that teaser trailer gave us nothing.
Yeah.
Totally nothing. What do you think about Spider-Man Far From Home?
I really, frankly, haven't had time to think about it yet. I just saw the trailer.
Just watched it.
I'm going to let that simmer. I'm sure it'll be great. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero, and so I will probably really dig it. But for right now, I'm still in the Endgame feels and enjoying that. Maybe want to see it one more time. I think you might go see it with the kids again.
No. While you're in Belfast, enjoying your
Work.
pint of work
and
pint of Strongbow cider, probably.
oh yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go see Detective Pikachu.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, we were gonna, and we try to go to these advanced screenings. It just was not. May is a bad month for that because there's too much going with you.
And there's not even any graduations or weddings this year. Like, oh my God, if you threw those in there.
So much going on right now. It just can't even. I mean, this makes the holidays look like. I don't know about you. Our May is just like May Day. Okay, we're like, oh God,
it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty bad. So, no, I think that'll be fun. You guys really, and they're way into Pokemon. You're respectful of it. You want to see it because Ryan Reynolds is voicing.
Yeah,
Pikachu.
get a Pokemon colored Deadpool suit. That'd be awesome.
Well, and then then Denver Pop Culture Con is right after that. So.
Oh, and I can go as Fat Thor because I just gotta get a beard and win.
I did get us those 2 T-shirts. So it's the one where it's Leia saying "I love you" and it's Han saying "I know." So we can wear those there.
Okay, we're gonna catch up on a lot of different loose ends that we were supposed to catch up on. The past few weeks that we just haven't had time. What was better animated movie, Incredibles or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, Spider-Verse.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it won the Oscar.
It was innovative. It was different. And it was so stylistically, I mean, even with the different styles of the Spider men and women and people, it was great. I loved it. And Incredibles we had seen, and it was fine, but it's Pixar, it's fine. But, Spider-Verse was a whole new frontier of that. So that's why it deserves my ultimate respect.
Yeah. I can see it getting the Oscar over Incredibles 2.
And it was great. You got Miles. Miles is in it.
I still like Incredibles 2 better.
I know.
But Spider-Man's not my jam. So that's part of it too. Totally her jam. But I did really enjoy them both. Anything else that you have? Because that's kind of it for our show this month.
We got Big Daddy, who is my stepdad and the kid's grandfather and your stepfather-in-law. But yeah, Big Daddy loved Endgame. I know you guys didn't you see it yesterday? And I'd love to hear what you thought of it because I can't remember if Mom said you guys had seen Infinity War. That's one thing. So let's recap really fast. Right. If somebody, now, if you've watched this whole broadcast, you just got a lot of stuff spoiled. But if you haven't seen all the Avengers movies, maybe you don't care. So maybe you'd like Endgame to make sense to you. Aside from Infinity War, which is a must-see before you see Endgame, what movies do they absolutely have to see? If you have to pick 5 Avengers movies.
You can't just pick 5.
Just 5?
Oh, my God.
Can't do it?
Iron Man, Captain America, First Avengers.
Yes.
Avengers. I don't think you can do 5.
Thor, Dark World.
Thor.
Have to.
Yeah, Thor.
You have to.
Well, if you're going to pick a 5, that one's got to come out.
It's a killer. It's a killer thing. I can't.
Civil War.
Yeah. We got to see a Guardians. Probably just the first one.
No.
Yeah.
So you can't just do 5. It has to be Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to see Ragnarok.
So if you're going to do just 5 is you can't do it. There's at least 11 movies.
All right,
that you have to see.
shorter list. Which ones can you leave out?
Which ones can you leave out?
Which ones can you
The
leave
Incredible
out?
Hulk.
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, even though that introduces the Budapest and
it's not the big deal.
Like that, you don't have to do it. The first Thor, you can probably leave out.
Guardians 2. I love it, but you don't have to
Guardians
see it.
2.
To have it make sense.
We have the whole thing right there, so I'm looking at it.
Yeah. We have all.
Spider-Man Homecoming, you can leave that one out.
You can leave that one
Black Panther, you can leave out.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man, you could probably leave out, but you can't leave out Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Truth.
So if you can't see Ant-Man and the Wasp, let's say Ant-Man can leave Ant-Man out.
By the way, someone before Endgame came out was like, these are the movies that you should see. And they put Ant-Man, they said that you should watch it before you go see Infinity War. And I was like, no. The end credit scene spoils Infinity War. You cannot see Ant-Man and the Wasp before you see Infinity War. Don't do that. Her list was in error. So thank you very much.
Shout out to hashtag whatever her name was. We don't have it.
The thing went viral and everybody's like, Rachel, what do you think about this? Was on pause. I'm like, she's got the order wrong. I got to tell you that right now. But yeah.
We'll do a whole other thing about the order of things. Like, should we watch Star Wars in order of they were produced or order of episodes? And we'll do another whole thing on that one. And whether or not Caddyshack 2 actually exists. But yeah, so I think the way shorter list is what you can leave out.
Agreed.
For sure.
Yeah.
But we have watched them all and watched them all many times. If you want to watch them all, there are 21 movies total now, right? 22, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're going to need to pace yourself there.
By the time the home video release of Endgame comes out, obviously Captain Marvel will be on a home release. You can plan it out. Watch one a week.
Or one every 2 weeks. You have a whole year.
Or 2 a week, whatever, if you want to. But yeah, one a week. Right up to there, plan it out. We'll go on when we get to that time and say, this is the way you should watch them. And this is the schedule, and then kind of break it down for people.
And we have on our podcast on UnpauseIt, you can get it on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify or anything like that. We actually did a review of each of those movies. So you can
Up to Infinity War does not really include the Captain Marvel one, but we do have a Captain Marvel podcast going on there. We'll do some home video releasing things like that. And we're definitely going to have a just me and the boy. So it'll be tons of energy and me yelling at him on Godzilla. And we're going to do probably a little audio version of that right after we see Godzilla. We're going to see that one opening night. That's an end of 7th grade for that guy. So he kind of deserves it with all the stuff that he's been going through with school this year. We're going to take him. We're going to go see it on, like a Thursday night show, whatever, because he'll be out of school right then.
That's right.
So that will probably be one of our next deals, because I think that's right around Denver Pop Culture Con.
Agreed.
So it's going to be a good time.
All right. Well, cool. If we didn't talk about any of the spoilers that you wanted to talk about and you still want to talk about them, put it in the comments and we'll do some more stuff about this, and maybe we'll have another live thing. We're like, well, we didn't finish talking about it. But yeah, a lot of people have a lot of feelings. This movie, like if you had to put this movie into one word, what would you say?
I said satisfying, and I stick with that.
I called Captain Marvel satisfying, and I stick with that. This movie was cathartic.
Cathartic. Oh, man. No, not for me. I stick with that. I can see why it is cathartic. But yeah, I got to stick with satisfying. I felt satisfied, which is
that's not a bad thing.
Close to catharsis, but not quite the same. But I was satisfied with everything that was in there.
They did a good job.
Wrapping it up. So the epilogue is what this has been claimed to be, the epilogue to the phase 3 of the MCU, whatever phase they're in right now, phase 9, 7 of 9. The last one is Spider-Man Far From Home. When you get into things, Sony gets the rights to Spider-Man back, and they're making tons of money with Spider-Verse and tons of money with Venom. So now Spider-Man's out of the MCU. Or Disney says, "Oh, we'll just buy Sony now."
By the way,
own everything.
I want to see a show of hands. Everyone who's going to pay for Disney's streaming service. Yep, it's
only $70 for 12 months.
And you get all of the Disney movies, all of those old animated ones.
But we don't do Hulu. We do Netflix, and we do Amazon Prime. And the Amazon thing, we don't watch anything on Amazon, but we get stuff sent to us. So like the shipping pays for itself. Yeah. Plus there's, other discounts and things that we do on Amazon Prime. And it's Kindles and like $100 a year for that. So it's not that bad, right?
That's right.
Does not include Hulu, which they now basically own. And apparently that's where all the R-rated Fox stuff is rumored to go.
Okay.
That's where Deadpool would be.
Yes.
See? Or is it $70 for the first year? Oh, wait, we have all this money.
Take all my money.
Yeah, pretty much. Disney owns everything. Hashtag too big.
Between Jeff Bezos and the Disneyland, yeah.
That's why I'm looking forward to Godzilla. It's not a Disney property. And the Rambo thing. I'm like the only one I know who's really into that one. But that last movie, it brought me back in. I really liked it. So I'm going to see that one. Probably try to get some people to go with me, but maybe by myself.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Good luck to those of you who are watching Game of Thrones too. I guess this last week's episode
should have had my Starbucks coffee mug hanging in there. Apparently there was just a gaffe. Whatever. There was a watching Braveheart, right? These are laser swords. I remember watching the version of Star Wars where Darth Vader had his stick and they forgot to light it red. In the post credits, it didn't take away from it. It made it better. There's one part where a TIE fighter's fighting backwards. They're everywhere. That's what makes it better.
It happens. But anyway, good luck to you, Game of Thrones folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Walking Dead's coming up next season. We're going to keep watching that. And we will keep on coming back to you when we have time because we be tired. But thanks for watching. We're in the end game now. Well, we were. Now we're out of the end game. We've seen it. I hope you have enjoyed it. Checkmate. Ooh, good job. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.